Welcome to the Detroit Lakes Community Calendar. I'm Trevor, and joining us now we have a pair of guests from the Damien Club. Is it a club or what is it? What is it called?
Yeah, we're the Damiens, and we are a group of women, and we have been around for over
75 years or something.
75 years.
Wow.
And so we're very well established, and it's we look for ways to help individuals and organizations in our community. And so some big fundraisers that we have, maybe people are familiar with, is the home tour. And all those proceeds, we find ways to give back, whether it's to our schools, to nonprofits, just as a way to just help to continue to build our community and the people that live here.
And coming up here, you guys have something that's been around in a part of our community for 51 years now. But you have your annual mitten tree coming up. And what is that, and how can people get involved?
Oh, great question. This is actually, like you said, our 51st year. Last year we broke the records. It was the highest amount of donations that we received, and it actually started with just one member of our group. Her name was Jen Quacco, and she was really concerned about kids not having that warm winter gear when they go outside and play or when they're at school, and that's how it started. But it's just been kind of something that keeps morphing and growing. And so yeah, we really do reach out to children, to kids in school, all the way up through the high schools. But we also give to like Ecumen, when their residents need to travel to a doctor appointment. If they need a hat or scarves or mittens, we give to them. Families at the crisis center shelter, gentlemen who might be staying at the Compassion House or the Refuge. So we really are just so excited for this opportunity where we can give back to the people in need around us.
So how many gloves, hats, mittens will be given away over the course of, I'm assuming, over the next couple of weeks that this program is going to be running?
I think it's well over 1,000, but I haven't been part of it for the last couple of years, so I don't know. But yes, and so the way we gather these, we don't buy them,
Right.
and most of us don't knit.
I don't know. They wouldn't want what we create.
But there's a group now at DLCCC that's got a knitters group, and they've been busy making really nice scarves and mittens for the tree. So we have trees set up at 5 banks: Bell State, Bremer, First Security, Midwest Bank, and Wells Fargo. And then places where people gather, like the DLCCC, La Barista, the library. We also have at Central Market, DL Newspapers, at Essentia Health in Sanford, Lake Shirts, and Minnesota Pollution Control. So these all groups have kind of come forward and said, we want to have a mitten tree at our place. So, so they have basically put it up. Their clients come in and put mittens on the tree. And then on December 18th, everything needs to be picked up off those trees, divided up between all of these groups, and then distributed so they're there in time for the end of school, before school break. So it gets to be a big project, actually. But
So December 18th is when the whole thing wraps up. When does the whole project begin?
no.
Yeah, I just had lunch at La Barista, and our tree is up. And it's hard to miss them. They're an artificial tree, and they have a big red sign that says Damien Mitten Tree. And if you like warm gloves and mittens, hats, scarves, neck warmers, you name it, anything that you can think of that will help keep kids warm, adults warm, things that you appreciate, is absolutely fantastic.
Perfect. And so let's run through that list one more time of all these places that people can stop by, and if they have some winter clothes that they want to donate, that they can do that.
We should also talk about where everything goes.
Yeah.
So it goes to the schools, which are Detroit Lake Schools, Holy Rosary. We give to Audubon Schools, Frazee Schools, White Earth, the Head Start programs, Crisis Center, Ecumen, the Essentia Emergency Room gets some. Can you think of some more, Beth?
Boy, there's just so many. The Refuge, the Compassion House, a lot of our Head Start programs like Mahubby and over at Lincoln. And what's so great is once we see that all the needs are met within Detroit Lakes, we will go to Frazee, we'll go to Audubon, out to Whiter. So we really, if there's an organization out there that you're like, oh, we could use some of those, please reach out to the Damiens and let us know. We would be happy to try to connect with you.
Sure. And then we're also giving to the Boys and Girls Club, both in Callaway and Detroit Lakes. So it's one more that gets it. So again, it's the banks, Bell State, Bremer, First Security, Midwest Bank, Wells Fargo, and where people like to have some fun is DLCCC, La Barista, the library, Central Market when you're in there, and DL Newspapers, the community health centers, Essentia Health and Sanford, Lake Shirts is collecting, and Minnesota Pollution Control. So Thank you so much.
So the Damien Mitten Tree going on now until December 18th. Anything else before we let you guys go?
Yep, and I think the Breakfast Rotary also started a new tree out at the Holiday Inn. So we just really appreciate the businesses that have partnered with us and how generous our community is.
All right, so donate your hats, gloves, mittens, anything that you have laying around for the Damien Mitten Tree. We'll be back with more DL Community Calendar right after this. Welcome back to the Detroit Lakes Community Calendar. With us now we have Beth Layton talking about the Young Life Christmas tree sales going on. Started last weekend, going to continue through the month of December. What is Young Life and what are you guys selling Christmas trees for?
Well, Young Life is just an amazing organization in our community that is there to provide a fun, positive, and encouraging environment for kids in wildlife or young life. So wildlife is for all kids in the middle school, so 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then young life is all high school age kids. And it's just a fun way to come together with people of like minds and just really create a sense of belonging in a positive and a safe spot.
And now you guys are selling Christmas trees, and you're doing it every Friday, Saturday, Sunday through the month of December. And what kind of trees do you have, and what can people get when they stop down for a Christmas tree?
Well, first of all, we have a brand new location. We used to be right along by the beach, kind of located by Sanford Clinic. But because of all the construction and everything that's happening there, we have moved and we are over on Westlake Drive at Westlake Laundry. So thank you very much to Ben Rewer, who has opened his business up for us. And if you've been driving by there lately, you've probably seen the big Daggett trucks, and they are just plumb full of the Christmas trees and the wreaths. And so we're really excited about this new location. We think it's going to be fantastic. Again, it's at Westlake Laundry. And when you're done, swing by El Loro, get some chips and salsa. It'll be awesome. But yeah, no, we have 3 different types of trees. So we have a balsam, a Fraser, and a white pine, along with Mona Bainey. It has generously donated Christmas wreaths. And I will say those are a hot commodity, and so those go pretty fast.
So the Christmas trees that you guys have come in, you have 3 different Christmas trees and all these wreaths. Is it kind of a first come, first serve? When they're gone type of deal?
Exactly. And so, yeah, like you said, we go all the way up to that last weekend right before Christmas, and we're hoping to be sold out. But yeah, you'll be able to come, and we have a wide variety that we just set out that people can kind of look through. But if you're like, oh, I really want an 8-footer, we will have a special spot for like those extra tall trees for you. Or I know for us, our daughter has allergies, so we kind of gravitate more towards the Fraser. It has a little less of the scent to it and doesn't really aggravate her. So we have everything that you could possibly imagine, and we have some very excited and happy workers that are out there. And if you need help loading it, we sure can get that ready for you. Or if you're looking at the stump and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if that's going to fit my tree stand, we'll be able to do the best we can so that once you get it home, it'll be up and ready to go.
This is great because I know when I was growing up, we would go out and we would cut our own Christmas trees. And so you get out in the woods and you find this tree and you're like, wow, that is a winner.
Yes.
And then you cut it down and you bring it back. And then it's 15 feet too tall. So then you got to cut it in half. And then it doesn't look that good when you bring it inside. But these trees that you guys have, I'm sure, all going to look great. They're already shaped and ready to go and go into the house. And people will load it up and throw it on top of your car for you and everything. It's just show up, grab your tree, and head home.
It is. It's exactly that. And the best part of all of this is 100% of all the proceeds that we get from these Christmas tree sales goes right back into what we call the Campership Fund. So part of Young Life and part of Wildlife is that these students, these kids, they get to go and have a once-in-a-lifetime experience at camp where they can just grow and blossom and just be able to share an incredible experience with other people their age. And so all the money goes to help support and sponsor these students to go to camp. So 100% of it.
So the event started the weekend after Thanksgiving, and now it'll be running every Friday, Saturday, Sunday through December. And the hours that people can stop down and pick up these trees are?
Yep. On Friday nights, we're there 4 to 7. And then Saturday and Sunday, we are there from 10 in the morning through 7 o'clock at night. And if anyone is interested in helping us sell trees, we are still looking for some volunteers for those last couple weekends in December. Just feel free to reach out to me. My number is 218-234-1041, and we'll see if we can plug you in. We're fortunate. This is, I think, our third year where our family has gone and done it, and it's really fun. It's a great opportunity just to share the true spirit of Christmas with others.
Sounds good. So stop on down, pick up those trees. And again, you guys are in a new location on Westlake Drive at the laundromat.
Yep, at Westlake Laundry. And our prices for the trees kind of vary. We're from $40 all the way up to $80. And then the wreaths, again, that are super popular are $50. So we hope to see as many people out there as we can.
Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, stop on down, get yourself a tree, and first come, first serve. We'll be back with more Detroit Lakes Community Calendar right after this. Welcome back to the Detroit Lakes Community Calendar. With me now, I have Barry Schroeder with Go Caroling. Barry, how are you doing today?
Hey, Trevor. Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Glad you could make it down. And how is your pipes doing? You ready to go do some singing?
Yes, sir. We're all set, and we're excited about it. My vision is to see Detroit Lakes become a beacon of righteousness. That's my mantra. And anytime I find something that will reinforce that, I latch on to it. So I came across this on the web the other day, gocaroling.com. Somebody in Ohio has initiated it. It's a nationwide thing, and it's an attempt to get communities out Christmas caroling like we used to do a long time ago. I won't say how long ago, but a long time ago. We used to get out and go door to door and just bless the people. So that's what we're going to do now, and we're doing it the whole church in Detroit Lakes. When I say the church, it means all the churches are participating in different degrees. Some churches are going to take an entire portion of the city and blanket that. Others are going to take their block where they live and just get a handful of people, 5 to 15 people, and just go door to door singing. And if you can't get something from your own church going, you can just call me at 972-757-0078, and I'll schedule you for a specific place. Or if you don't want to do that, just show up at the Detroit Lakes High School on either December 14th or 15th, Saturday or Sunday. Show up at 2:45 in the afternoon, and then we'll just pool all the resources that come together and send them out from there.
So this is all taking place December 14th and December 15th across the entire Detroit Lakes?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
And you'll be out there singing. Do you have a favorite carol that you're going to be participating in?
Well, yeah. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. And oh, come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. And we'll leave with, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yeah, so that's it.
Perfect. Well, that sounds great to me. So people can talk to either their church, or if their church isn't participating, or if they just want to come on down, they can come on down to the Detroit Lakes High School on the 14th and the 15th, and they can participate in this caroling across the city.
Boy, you picked that up really quick, Trevor. That is good. I'm impressed.
It's just trying my best to get people out caroling. And if people have any questions, can they call you about this event?
Correct. 972-757-0078, and it'll be on your screen too, probably.
Sounds good to me. Well, Barry, thank you so much for coming on down, and get out and go do some caroling on December 14th and December 15th. We'll be back with more Detroit Lakes Community Calendar right after this. Welcome back to the Detroit Lakes Community Calendar. Joining us now, we have Kathy Coyle with the Becker County Museum. Kathy, how are you doing?
Great. Thanks, Trevor. My friends here at TV3, I feel bonded with them because I've been doing the Museum Roadshow now. As a volunteer, I'm an old broadcaster. You don't know that because you weren't born probably when I was busy broadcasting. I retired from that job in 1996. But more recently, I retired from the USDA and decided to live in the Detroit Lakes area and get involved in a lot of interesting volunteer activities, and one of them is the Becker County Museum.
And what are you doing over at the Becker County Museum? What's going on down there that we need to talk about today?
Well, specifically, Raina wants me to remind people that we're looking for great topics because Raina and I are having such a great time going out and interviewing people, whether it's about history or we're expanding it to also include science, because the Becker County Museum is not only history, but it's also science and children's museum. So we're going to cover all the bases. We've already been in the cemetery. People ask me, what were you doing in the cemetery? They saw me on TV3. I said, well, I was pretending to be Mary Burgeon and tell you all about, how Burgeon Floral got started. And we had some other interesting people, reenacting Clem from Clem's Dock, that sort of thing. We've been out to I wanted to say Bonanzaville, but that's not right, to the Steam Threshers reunion and showed how the steam engines worked and the great history that's involved out there. We went to the powwow. Erica was with me at the powwow recently, and then we interviewed Mike Swan about the history of powwows and how that's changed over the years. So we're looking for more ideas. It has to be visual as well as interesting, but if people want to give the museum a call and those ladies will take a message for me, I'd appreciate it. Another thing is that we have an archives at the museum that will be there forever, long after you and I are gone. And so we also want to interview people, whether it's on videotape or audio tape. And so people who are doing history projects or science projects in the future will be able to come up and find those interesting interviews. Recently, I talked to Mr. Ronning, who had been a farmer back in the days when the farms were going broke, and sadly enough, some of that history is being repeated today. But he kind of hopped around to different farms because he was running farms that had been foreclosed by the state of Minnesota, and it became the state's land, and then he would farm that property until they sold it to somebody else. So it was an interesting snapshot of his history plus the history of Minnesota. So there's all kinds of possibilities. And once again, if people want to call the museum, the number there is 218-847-2938.
So there's all kinds of things going on that you've learned about Becker County. What are, off the top of your head, what are 2 or 3 stories that really stick out, just that you've heard from people in this area?
Well, we had fun doing a bootleggers segment that has just been running recently. We found out that all sorts of people were involved in bootlegging. It wasn't just the kind of characters that my stereotype conjured up in my head. It was, all kinds of people that could be a bank president. I don't know if it really was, but could be all kinds of people. And farmers especially saved their farms by illegally brewing their own and then bringing it to this cottage that we visited that had some pure water that they would cut the whiskey and then ship it out on the Pelican River to the bars and the speakeasies.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really fun. And then also, Trevor, I wanted to thank people who participated in the phone-a-thon because thanks to Leighton Broadcasting, they let me be on all day long with live remotes going around the community and finding out how much money we raised. Our goal for one day was to raise $100,000. We raised almost $150,000. So we want to thank all those people who are participated, but we also need to keep on raising money because our goal to pay for a new museum that will be attached to the Historic Homes Theater is $6.4 million. So right now we've raised over half that amount. We've got a long ways to go. We're hoping the legislature is going to make up the difference, but we can't count on them because there are so many projects in the state of Minnesota that need funding. But we're trying our best to get the legislature to help us and get that new museum for both history, science, and children built by groundbreaking fall of next year.
So hopefully that's here, and there's just so many more stories that need to be told with by you and the Becker County Museum. Well, thank you so much, Kathy,
Thank
for
you,
stopping
Trevor.
by for everything, and we'll be back with more DL Community Calendar right after this. That's going to do it for our TV3 Detroit Lakes Community Calendar today. If you'd like to be a part of our community calendar on TV3, call Abby at 218-847-5624.